Hi, how you doing, and welcome back to a video on the channel. What we have for you today is our preview video going into Game Week 24, how my team did in Game Week 23, and my thoughts regarding team selection and transfers moving forward. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. We are closing in on 150 subscribers, which would be a super cool achievement for the channel, so if you can help with that, it would be appreciated, and thank you to those who have been supporting the channel so far. Let's take a look at my team for Game Week 23. And a couple of weeks ago, the defenders did really well, and we did say it was kind of an anomaly, and we're back to normal this week with even a minor scoreline from Gabriel there. He did score 17 points a couple of game weeks ago, so he is still in the good books, really. I was a bit annoyed Conser got injured on the 58th minute and went off because he missed out on that clean sheet for Aston Villa. Onana did manage to get a clean sheet and some save points as well, which is always welcome. And other than that, there's not much to write home about in the defence. In the midfield and the attack, however, I was correct to bench Bowen, as all my other midfielders and attackers did get an attacking return, apart from Alvarez, who was the person I captained. So really, last week it was a case of I captained Foden and Alvarez scored 2 goals, and this game week it was a case of captaining Alvarez and Foden scored 3 goals. So it is annoying because really, if I'd done that the other way around, I would have been like 30-40 points better off. But there were still good ideas to captain those players. We just got a little bit unlucky. So I'm annoyed at the outcome, not at the decision. And it is just a game, so sometimes you get the pluses going for you. I've definitely had a lot of luck along the way this season so far, and we have got a green arrow this game week anyway, up to 63k. And it's a fantastic overall rank, something I'm super happy with. Let's try and push for the top 50k this game week. So the fixtures for this game week, and there's a lot on this Saturday. Like, Saturday is super busy with just a couple remaining in the other days. In terms of captaincy, I think you do well to look past Man City or Liverpool. Really, I think if you're looking for a bit of stability with your points, we'll probably captain Haaland. Now we know he's going to start for Man City. Could still be a little bit rusty, but I think he's the focal point. If you've maybe got Alvarez in your team as well, I think Alvarez is a good captaincy option. If you want a bit of a big upside, maybe a bit of a risk-taking differential, you could captain a Liverpool player. What you do get with Liverpool, though, is a bit of variety with the rotations. And, yeah, you could captain someone, but there's not really anyone that I would say, oh, they're the standout player for Liverpool. I think if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Jota, because when he does play, his goals and assists per minutes ratio is really good. So I think, you're taking a bit of a risk captaining a Liverpool player. If you want to play it safe, captain a Man City player. Other than that, if you're wanting to captain someone else, I guess I'd just say, why aren't you captaining a Liverpool or Man City player? Because there's not really any other options. Maybe if you wanted to captain a Luton player at home to Sheffield United, Luton are scoring a lot of goals, Sheffield United are conceding a lot of goals, but that is a super out there pick, and I definitely wouldn't advise that over Man City or Liverpool players. So my team for this game week looks pretty solid, to be honest. We've got some really good fixtures for good players. My issue is that I've got a few injuries knocking about. So I've got Colwell and Conser, who are both injured at the moment. And it does leave me a little bit short in defence, because Lascelles is also carrying, a slight knock at the moment. So it does leave me with 2 playing defenders. I do currently have 2 free transfers and about 3.8, 3.9 million in the bank as well. So I have got a free transfer to use. I am aware that we are going to want Salah and or Son back in at some point, and that does kind of impact my transfer thoughts a little bit. I'm less fussed about getting Son back in at the moment, because Spurs do have a blank game week in a couple of game weeks, and they do around the blank play Brighton, Wolves, Palace and Villa, and at least 3 of those teams are really tricky, and it's not necessarily something that I think, I need Son in immediately. If anything, I would wait until after the blank. Salah's someone who, once fit, I am going to want straight back in. And it does affect the transfers that I'm looking at, because I am thinking of taking out Colwell at the moment, mainly because, yeah, he's injured, but he's also got that blank game week coming up. The fixtures around the blank don't look that good either, especially from a defensive point of view. Your Man City, Brentford, Newcastle, Arsenal. I'm not a huge fan of that, so I have no problem letting him go. The player I am thinking of getting in is Trent. Now, this is a super aggressive transfer, something that I don't always do, so sometimes try and keep it safe. But I think for the immediate future, with the few game weeks we've got, yeah, he's got a blank, but the fixtures around the blank look really good, and he's got that double game week coming up in a couple of game weeks. I think if you can play Burnley and Luton both at home, in the space of 2 game weeks. They are fantastic fixtures. I think, yeah, you could keep at least one clean sheet there, and Trent's someone who could get more attacking returns. It does use up all my transfer funds, but I think in a couple of game weeks, if I do want Salah back, I could just reduce Trent to even someone like Trusty. Let's say if maybe Lascelles is back, or maybe Consa's back, or I use another transfer in the meantime to change a defender out. Could reduce Trent down to Trusty, and then use that money to upgrade someone like Bowen to Salah. It will work, and you know it's a pretty good way out, I think, that I could do in a game week if I keep 2 transfers each game week. So let me know what you think. Is there anyone else you would get in? Am I being a bit too bold with Trent at the moment, or do you think it's a good move? If you've got any questions about your own team as well, just let me know. Drop them in the comments. Always like to engage and sort of discuss different options with different teams. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.